Hello everyone, I trust you are doing great. I trust you are winning. I want to apologize for not posting a video last week. I was at the encounter and it was also amazing. Kirk Franklin was there, Donnie McClurkin was there, Don Nguyen was there, Tasha Cobbs was there. I was there for 10 hours, so by the time I got home I was so knackered I couldn't even come up here to post a video. Today I am going to be talking to you guys about negativity, and I bet somebody's saying, oh well, we already know about negativity, we can't allow negative people into our spaces, we shouldn't buy into negative thoughts, we shouldn't let them take over our minds. That is not what I want to tell you. Today I want to talk to you about how you are unknowingly negative about your life, and I'm just going to present two examples to you, not examples per se, 2 points, let's call it that, in which 2 points or 2 ways in which you are unknowingly negative about your life. The very first one is that we tend to buy into negative notions without actually knowing that we are. There are so many negative notions in our world today that are projected as facts. They're projected as what you should expect. They're projected as norms, man. They're shielded and presented so nicely that it looks like advice even. And one very common one is all men cheat. That's just off the top of my head. People always say all men cheat, and I realize that so many people have bought into that mindset. They do believe for some reason that all men cheat, so when they go into a relationship, they're going, no matter how great this guy is, they're waiting for him to cheat. They're expecting it to happen. And the Bible says something really interesting: as a man thinks, so is he. Now what that tells me is that our thoughts actually have the power to produce the kind of lives that we want to live. Now when we've bought into negative mindsets of other people, when we've bought into the notions of other people, we start to play them out in our minds, and subsequently they play out in our lives. Something that people often say as well, they always say marriage is a lot of hard work. And I always ask myself, why on earth would anybody, given the craze for people to get married these days, why are they running towards this hard work? But that's not necessarily a fact. You need to understand, even all men cheat is not a fact. It's based on the negative experiences that some people have had. Now when you buy into the notion and you start to speak life into it by saying it into your life, all men cheat, so I don't need to expect anything. Oh yeah, that's another notion. Don't expect too much from your relationship. And people go into relationships not expecting anything. And I like what my friend said on Twitter recently. She's like, when I open a tap, I expect water to come out of it. So how am I going to be in a relationship with a person and not expect anything? All of these are simply negative notions that you don't need to buy into. You need to understand that your mind is like a garden. Your mind is a garden, a very fertile one. Every seed that drops on there has the power to be a fruit if you do not dig it out. And even if it starts to grow into a plant, if you do not uproot it, it's going to be a fruit. So we need to stop buying into the negative notions based on the negative experiences of other people. I'm going to give you an example Pastor Shannon Neiman used. Interestingly, I was thinking about this topic, and she gave this example in church. She said a lady who worked for her had a headache when she came into work, and she said to this lady, okay, well, it's probably allergies, you need to take some aspirin. And this lady went out, and on the way out she bumped into somebody else, and that person is like, oh, you've got a headache. Oh my god, this other lady had a headache, and we found out it was a brain tumor. Now this other lady comes back into the office and she's like, oh my god, it's probably a brain tumor, I need to get an MRI, I need to get a CAT scan. It turned out to be nothing more than a headache, but for so many days she basically robbed herself of happiness because she was thinking, oh wow, now I'm gonna die, by simply buying into a notion that was sold to her. You need to understand that there are negative thoughts, negative notions, negative mentalities that are sold to you not as negativity, they're sold to you as advice. I mean, somebody told me recently, you're a strong woman, and when you get married, you need to understand that there's going to be some friction between you and your husband because you need to establish who actually has the power. And she could see on my face that I looked really confused and disgusted, and she's like, no, I'm not wishing you evil, I'm just saying, that's what happened to me. And when I got married, I used to be very assertive, but as I learned that in order for my marriage to work, I needed to keep quiet, then I started to keep quiet more, and I'm just giving you advice. And I had to say to her, but I'm not going to marry your husband. I'm not going to marry your man. I'm not going to marry in the same situation that you did. So I'm not going to buy into your thought. And we need to understand negativity before it even hits us. You need to see it coming from a mile away. Otherwise, you let the seed grow in your heart and you start to germinate it and you start to think, well, this is a norm. And guess what? As you think, so you shall be. So it will play out in your life. So guys, take note of that. The second way we are unknowingly negative about our lives is we've got this mindset I call the either or mentality. The either or mentality is basically when we say to people, if you've got love, you can't have money. If you have money, you can't have love. If you have a hot sexy husband, he's gonna cheat on you. If you have a hot sexy husband, you can't be a Christian. If you marry a successful businessman, he can't be a Christian. Because we tend to believe that some of these things are not available to us. So we place limitations on the things that we want. We say, okay, well, I either have to chase love or I have to chase money, because I can't have both. Who said you can't have both? The Bible says that Christ came so that we may have life and have it abundantly. Even Ephesians 3:20, which is like my favorite verse, I'm sure you guys already know this now. God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we could ever ask or imagine, which means that you could tell yourself, God, I want it all and I'm going to go after every single thing that I want. And God says, you know what? I'm going to give it to you, because God is open to us taking hold of everything that he has made available to us. So you need to stop with that either or mentality. When people ask me, what kind of man do you want to marry? I was like, I want a guy who's so hot and sexy and he needs to be a Christian. But I need to look at him on Friday nights and be like, oh, babe, you're so cute. You are so handsome. You're so adorable. I need to have that. And people are like, oh, well, then, Christianity with such guys is not really a thing. Well, guess what? For my husband, it's going to be a thing, because that's what I want. We need to stop buying into the either or mentality. We need to stop believing the notions of other people. We need to stop buying into this idea that we cannot have everything. It is interesting. I read The Alchemist a couple of weeks ago, and in there it said that when a man has a dream, the universe conspires to make it happen for him. And I'm sure some of you have read The Secret. Basically the idea is, if you have a thought and you really believe it, then everything is going to happen that way for you, because the universe wants it to happen that way. Well, in this case, we're going to remove the universe and we're going to place God. God works based on what you want. You say, God, this is what I want. God makes it happen for you. It might not be immediately, but he will make it happen if you wait. The reason some people don't even wait is because they've bought into the negative notions of other people. People are like, once you hit 30, the guys are not going to keep coming anymore. Guys just fall off the planet, of the earth for you, because, your days of glory have passed. Who told you that? Who on earth told you that? There are people I know who never got asked out on a date for the first 29 years of their lives, and then at 32, Mr. Perfect. And I'm not talking about perfect, with some shadiness underneath. I'm talking about perfect, showed up at God's appointed time, because God orchestrated it that way. So you need to stop buying into negative mindsets. You need to start believing the person who created you, who said you need to step into abundance. Some people believe that if you want to step into abundance, then you're greedy. So they always say, oh, well, God, if I can just have food to eat every single day and a place to just lay my head, even if it's just a bedroom, then that's okay. And you know what? God also goes, okay, son, that's okay. That's what you're gonna get. You need to start thinking abundantly. You need to start removing the limitations in your mind that are telling you that you cannot have this, or you cannot have that, or if you have this, then you can't have that, or if you're this kind of person, then you need to be prepared for certain kinds of negativity. Like that woman was saying to me, with your assertiveness, you're gonna need to learn how to be quiet, because that's submission. Submission is not silence, but that's a different video for another day. Guys, I just want to encourage you, stop buying into the mindsets of other people. Stop buying into the beliefs of other people. Stop buying into negative notions that are being propelled as facts. Stop buying into negative notions that are coming as advice. Stop buying into notions that have nothing to do with your personal experience. Some of the things you even believe, you haven't experienced them, but now you already have a belief about them. So when they do happen, your thoughts are going to make them play out the way that you believe. The way you believe. So these are ways in which you are unknowingly negative about about your life, and you need to put an end to it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope somebody out there is uprooting the seeds of negativity in their hearts, chucking out the evil advice that people have given them, you know, in the name of concern for you. You need to chuck all of those out, and you need to trust what God has said in his word. His word says that Christ came that you may have life and you may have it abundantly, and that is what you need to believe. There's no either or with God. God is not going to ask you, okay, well, if you want a job, then I'm going to take away your child. That's not God. That's the devil. The devil is the one that gives you an either or mentality. The devil is the one that takes something, you know, from you in order to give you something. So you need to get that, and you need to take hold of your mind so that you don't let such thoughts germinate. I hope this video is a blessing to you. Please share it with your friends, ask them to subscribe, and do check out my other videos. You know, I'm sure you saw links popping up across the screen as you were watching this one. Those are links to my videos, so if you could do a little rewind and just click on them, check them out, and share them with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Ask your friends to subscribe as well, and I will be here again next week because I am not going anywhere, so I'm not going to be tired to put up a video. Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.